All right, I am super excited. And yes, I was a little frazzled, ladies and gentlemen, for all of those out there watching. Yes, I had a moment, but that's part of what happens behind the scenes of Life and Times of a Female Entrepreneur. I created this platform for entrepreneurs and women that feel like when stuff goes wrong, that is the end of the world. And yes, I need to take my own medicine, right? Because I was panicking because I have this thing of excellence and I beat myself up a lot. And I probably shouldn't because stuff happens. It really, really does. But I'm working on it. But we are here. We are live like Memorex, ladies and gentlemen. And this is Life and Times of a Female Entrepreneur. And today I am super duper excited. I'm so excited I came to my office. I said, I got to sit up straight. You know, I got to be focused. I can't be leaning on my little couch at home that I call my studio, because I have not only the one and only and very patient with me as I try to work out the technical part of this thing. Miss Dawn Moss.
Hey, Lyric.
So much for one, coming on the platform and being a part of it, and talking to our audience of women who just kind of want to be entrepreneurs, or those that are entrepreneurs and sometimes just feel like I quit. So for those that don't know you, Dawn, could you just kind of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and what you do and why you're so, rock starish?
Oh, man. Well, I do want to thank you for having me on this platform, or even just creating the platform. I've been a fan of yours, for years. So when you read, yes, absolutely. I mean, I follow you, in your personal life, in your professional life. And I just been rooting you on the background, and I'm like, you are doing it. And then you recently, I think you went on a trip somewhere and had the baddest bathing suits. You were doing your thing. I was like, and she's super duper hot. I was like, go ahead, Lyric. So I'm telling you, I just want to thank you. You are doing your thing. And it's just refreshing to see you be so transparent. And I like that. And I thank you. I thank you for doing that and setting an example. But this rock star thing, I'm like, woo. My name is Dawn Moss. For those of you who don't know me, I'm originally from, I'm a South Jersey girl. So I'm a northern Southern girl. So I'm country at heart. I grew up, eating fat back bacon. My pop owned a farm, so he made our own food. My dad was a country boy, and was born in Camden, New Jersey. I came to Maryland on a basketball scholarship. I went to Morgan State University, and I play ball. I'm a baller, by heart. So I love that. And actually, that's when I met. I'm an executive managing partner and vice president for Big City Foods LLC, which is Carolina Kitchen. I met Mr. London, the owner, my freshman year at Morgan State. So I've been one of his apprentices. A lot of people don't know this, but since I was 17 years old. And I kind of got into modeling. Years later, I became Miss Black USA in 1996. And I've traveled the world, and eventually I executive produced Miss Black USA, and got into the restaurant business, and it's just been a whirlwind cycle of events and opportunity. I asked God a long time ago, just show me who you are. I want to be like you. I didn't want to be like the old school people. I'm a Christian, so they be like in church, they'll scare you to death. You'd be like, he's the doctor, the lawyer, the preacher, the this. And I'm like, I never heard role model. I never heard that. And when I decided that I wanted to be a Christian and Christ-like, I started to see him as the person that I was striving to be. So I made him my model, the role model, because people aren't going to follow someone that they don't like. I made him my teacher because he just set the example. He spoke poetry and rap and lyrics. no pun intended, but he spoke lyrical word that really moved a lot of people. So whatever it was that I was doing, I wanted to be like that. So that's what got me here, got me to Maryland. And I've never looked back. I've been here for on and off over 20 something and something odd years. Actually, more than that, almost 30 something.
Wow, but you're not that far from Jersey now.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Well, this business, you know, being in the restaurant business will keep you busy. And my mentor, Mr. Lance Lund, I've had a lot of mentors in my life. Well, not a whole lot, but really some significant people in my life. My model mentor, because I just kind of got into the modeling thing for some years because I wanted to learn posture and I was a tomboy, so I wanted to learn how to be elegant in front of the camera and sit up straight and walk straight and do all of those things. So I got those techniques down. And then the Miss Black USA gave me an opportunity to travel and speak to young people. I have a passion for working with young people, and then also establishing like dialogue between the youth and the elders. So I'm kind of somewhere with passion in between. And one day, Mr. London decided that we were going to go into the restaurant business. We were a marketing firm first. So I became an executive for his marketing firm. We did marketing, we did alarm systems, we did vitamins. You could find us anywhere years ago, door to door knocking, selling toys, whatever it was that we needed to do to make money. And when he decided that we were going to go into the restaurant business, I was just devastated because I'm like, who in the world would ever want to do this? I mean, be around chicken and pork chops and fried fish. And I don't know if you know, Lyric, our first store was in Silver Spring, Maryland.
Yes.
And it was a very small location. And we were doing the marketing firm. Our offices were upstairs. So he had met the original owners of Boston Market and just had this brilliant idea that he wanted to go into the restaurant business. They had kind of blocked him out. They made an agreement with him. He wanted to get into franchising. They made an agreement with him, decided that they weren't going to keep that agreement. So he threw a couple of us into this situation and said, we're going in the restaurant business. So I asked him why. I thought God was punishing me. He said two things. He said, when you go into business with God, you'll never go out of business. And then he said, successful people never pick and choose what they do. As long as it's legal and morally right, they do what it takes to become successful. So I got in the back in the kitchen, learned how to cook collard greens and yams and baked chicken and fried chicken and all that stuff. And that's been my platform. You know, it's been really something that I've been able to do. For years until God made it make sense to me, I started to look at it from a mentoring perspective and started really developing the young people that were coming through the company since we've been doing this so long. And I just started looking at things differently. And now we're just making it happen, building a brand. I don't know what to say. It's just been an amazing journey, and it hasn't been easy, but I thank God every day because ever since I was a young adult, I've never had to look for food or shelter my whole life. I've been covered.
Oh,
I've been
wow.
covered. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Let me back it up a little bit, okay?
Okay, let's back it up.
You got this basketball scholarship to Morgan State, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'm thinking, oh, shoot, she's a baller, right? You know, a real baller. And how in the world do you say, okay, I'm a baller, I'm doing jump shots, you know, I'm in the paint, I'm doing all of this stuff, and then all of a sudden, I got a crown on my head. I'm Miss Black USA. Like, those are on two different ends of the spectrum. Like, what makes you say, oh, I think I want to try something else. I'm going to learn a little etiquette here and then win it. That's the thing. You didn't just enter and say, I'm going to try something. You actually freaking won.
Yeah. Well, I socially suffered, or I was challenged socially coming to Morgan State. I come from a South Jersey where I grew up. It was a very diverse community. I went to a very diverse high school. Um, and I was very active and really accustomed to being on top of my game. I was student government president from seventh grade all the way up until I graduated, prom queen, homecoming queen, and always like was at the top of my game in sports. I played field hockey, basketball, ran track. So, but I wanted to play ball, so I got a scholarship there. And then when I got there, I struggled with my confidence and self-esteem. One, because I wasn't prepared for the competition. Like everybody was a high school All-American. They were at the top of their game, in their perspective areas where they came from. So I really had to work. I didn't know what that was like. Everything came so natural to me. So then when there were people better, or I had to work harder to fight for a position, it threw me off. I wasn't used to that. I wasn't prepared for that level of talent. And so that kind of took away from my self-esteem. And then I wasn't used to, I thought when I went to Morgan State, I was going to see everybody, students and book bags and everything. You walk up on the bridge, it's a party, people jamming and everybody going to, this event and that event. And I wasn't really like a party person. I hid behind I'm a team player. I hid behind sports. I hid behind basketball and track. I was always busy doing things that I knew. And then when I was challenged to have to meet people and socially introduce myself to other people, I struggled with that. So it didn't kind of work for me. And then my parents got divorced. That was took me through an emotional roller coaster because I didn't have the stability of my family while I was in school. Um, After that, I met a gentleman by the name of Travis Winky. He was in the modeling thing. And of course, let me back up a little bit. I wasn't the girl that made the best choices in relationships. So, it was like I met, girl, if there was anybody that was a bum magnet, you crown me that.
Me
I
too.
would, whew, Lord
Just
have
stick it on
mercy.
my back, girl. Just
I'm
stick it
telling
on
you,
my
stick
back.
it right on the back. So I attracted all the ones that was just totally bad news. And I found myself in situations where I could have even lost my life or my freedom. And one day, it's just, I had to regroup, and I hid myself from everybody, and then kind of asked God. I'm like, I really need some direction and some guidance. And I rode by this modeling studio, Travis Winky, out of Baltimore, Maryland, and I saw the most attractive people like you, African American men and women, coming out of there. And a friend of mine introduced me to him. So I joined the modeling studio, and that kind of put me back on track of what it was that I was doing. And then he became the state director for the Miss Black USA organization. And I wanted to get involved in that, but I was on the committee at first. And I was going through some rough patches in my life, at that time, and struggling. And then one day I realized that I found myself in a depressed state and a low self-esteem state. And I said, you know what? Maybe I should try and compete for the title of Miss Black USA. I know that I have talent. I'm not in a position, I'm not representing myself the way that I was when I was coming up. I had all this confidence. I, was the top of my game when I was in high school. I kind of like, lost my confidence, having to compete so hard playing basketball in college. And I was like, let me just try something. So I went to him and I told him I wanted to compete for the title of Miss Black Maryland at the time. And they told me, they were like, we've been waiting for you to step up. So I said that to say, like, you never know how people see you. You could be just as talented as the next person. And until you have enough confidence to just say, I want to try. That's all I wanted to do. I wasn't even like going after even thinking about winning. I was going after the fact that I was trying to do something that I had never done before, and to get my confidence and stuff back. I needed to know that I was okay. So I made that competition my journey. It was my journey. It was my quest to find out who Christ really is.
Yeah.
I said, I can't just talk about it. I got to be about it. So I lined myself up to walk this path. And I learned more about him. My talent was, I did a monologue about my grandmother. I became characters of influence in my life of people that I loved. My personality, my personal expression was, I called myself a book. I compared myself to a Bible, so I wrote a poem that kind of represents that. I mean, it was a lot of things that I did in order to embark on this journey. And then I had the opportunity to work with Monique, the young lady that of the Parkers and all that stuff. She used to have a restaurant in Baltimore. So I became one of her assistants. And her direct assistant got sick when she was doing a tour for Def Comedy Jam. And they called me because I would just go pass out flyers, whatever they needed at the restaurant or whatever she needed to promote her talent or whatever. I was there. I was the flyer girl. I was always just down to help another brother or sister go out and do what it is that they needed to do. So I went on tour with her. And then during that journey and that process, I made a decision that this is something that I want to do. I want to help people. I want to encourage people. And I want to use the creative entertainment and performing arts as a vehicle to bring about social change. So I created a platform for myself. It was called Project Yes. And that was entertainment as it relates to social change. And yes was such a positive acronym. I was just like, I'm gonna get everybody saying yes to life, yes to winning, yes to beauty, yes I am, yes I can. It was everything yes, everything that was positive, that was yes.
Yeah.
So I encouraged myself through that walk, and I was like, wow, if I can go to another state or another city and embark on a vision that I have for myself. And if God is putting me in this position, I ask him to enlarge my territory. So I went with that mindset to the national competition of Miss Black USA. And that journey, doing and thinking like that, I ended up winning. I didn't expect it. I thought that when they started doing the countdown, but fifth runner-up, you're like, all right, Lord, here we go. You said in the word, if you believe and have faith and all that stuff. So I'm sitting there, I'm smiling. They go fourth runner-up, and then they call the person, they had all of us out on stage. They call the fourth runner-up, and I'm like, okay, God, now you promised, you said that if you just have confidence and you talk about me and you uplift my name. Then they got to like second runner-up, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. There's only 2 spots left. Then Lyric, let me tell you something. When they got to the first runner-up and it was only one person they could call last, I was like, I was mad. I thought this was a joke. I forgot all about everything that had happened in the journey, how he pulled me out of situations, and I had my life and my freedom, and then I had opportunities to travel and stuff, and then my mindset changed. I said, I would be a lie if I didn't change my way of thinking and say, Lord, you brought me a mighty long way. So I became like in an instant while they were, I think what they were doing was reading what the winner would get. And my whole mindset changed, and I just started saying, thank you, Lord. Thank you for letting me live. Thank you for, taking me, throughout the country on this level. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Where there's women that were locked up in jail or on drugs. I could be on a pole. I could be doing anything. I said, thank you, Lord. And then I said, you know what? Whatever your will, God, let it be. And let me tell you something, Lyric. As soon as I said that, I gave it all up. I gave up the ghost. And that's when they called my name. And all I could do was say, "Thank you, Jesus," because it was at that moment I knew that his word was true. And my faith in everything, in God and everything that I do, went to a whole nother level. It didn't mean the struggle was less, because I
Right.
still went through some
Exactly.
things. But I was able to hold on to his promises. And even when I get down, or when I get down on myself and I don't feel like I can go on another day, or I'm questioning myself, I reference that whole journey back. And I'm like, you let me reign, and I reign forever. So nobody can ever take that process away from me, or that experience away from me. So that's my pill. That's my kryptonite. And that's my
Oh,
reference
God.
on doing things. Yeah.
So you praised him right there in the moment.
Girl,
You
in the
sat there.
moment. You know how they call the winner, and they all like, oh, I was like, the ugly cry. Then like you got this wave. I don't know if people can see it. Yeah, they do the wave in the other pageants, but this one was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and my girlfriend was in the crowd, right? It was one of those. Teach me how to dug it. It was crazy. It was crazy, but
That's that Jersey coming out.
oh, that was the Camden side that came out. I went straight hood up in there, but it was an awesome experience, and nobody would ever know that it was my worship. God told me, you know what, through all the obstacles and everything, you you made it, and He gave me a crown. And then it gets deep, because Christ's crown was thorns, mine was diamonds. You know, my sash had the Miss Black USA thing, and I used that. By his stripes, I'm healed. So I had that stripe across me. But I mean, it was just really, really deep. And so I walked this journey, even when I'm doing stuff that I don't particularly want to do, cleaning
Yeah.
bathrooms, and in the kitchen, and cooking chicken, and having to get up early to prep and do things, and make sure, back in the day, of course, we've evolved as a company, make sure that, things are right, doing catering jobs, and, you're the operator, the human resources, you're the janitor, you're the server, you're the this and that. There's no
Oh,
colorful
yeah.
thing that you can kind of label
Yes.
on what doing what it takes to become successful, in your own right. And success to me is not money, even though it does help. So don't anybody say, I want to make a whole lot of money. Well, I don't know who don't want to make a whole lot of money. I want to make a whole lot of money, you know,
Me too.
but having peace of mind, having peace, because I remember being in struggle, being evicted, having cars taken away from me, sleeping on floors and, some crazy infested places,
Yes.
trying to make it, or even traveling as Miss Letback USA. There were times the money ain't the same. I wasn't Miss USA, so the sponsorship is different.
Different.
So there's times where I'm in California, or I'm somewhere, I don't have a dime in my pocket, but God made provisions, because He gave me that. That was my uniform. And
Yeah.
people open up their doors. I would get job after job. I would get food, and doors would just open up. And it was a nice experience. But then let's not forget about the time where your season was up. So the
Yeah.
calls weren't the same, the jobs weren't the same, and my reality was a little bit different, because the struggle became even harder, because I didn't realize that, wait a minute, I need to get a job. This is not my job anymore.
Yes.
They're not calling me as much. I didn't understand
Mm.
the entertainment business, or the business side
Oh,
of the
yeah.
things that I was doing, to be able to capitalize on some of the things that I've done. I've worked with everybody. I've traveled and, done things, and I've been on television and radio, and had my own shows and all of that stuff. But you don't know, it's not a book that's written, especially back then. Now with the
Definitely.
internet, there's more resources. The
Totally
how
different.
Yes, but when I started, it was just like I didn't know anybody that was doing these things. I didn't know anybody that was doing what I was doing. So who do you call and who do you reference?
Mhm.
Now people have an opportunity, the young people have an opportunity to see a lyric that's saying you are a rock star. So
Mm-hmm.
I can take this platform or any platform and say, you
Exactly.
know, this is where you need to channel in. You need to get some information, you know, from here. We have more resources now, and so I look forward to us more women, especially women of color,
Yep.
embrace each other more and getting out of the stereotypical, you know, way of we talk about empowerment, but what do we do is not
What
what
do
we
we,
say,
yes,
it's
exactly.
what we do. So we support each other and, you know, do what we can to to elevate each other, you know, more by utilizing our resources and tapping in and sharing those resources with people who are really genuinely trying to make it. And we don't block them out of opportunities because maybe they look pretty or we're, you know, they look, we're not as thin or as, you know, in shape or as whatever the way that we used to look, and now we're hating on the next generation and not giving them opportunities because of our own insecurities. So we got to work, we got to do better, even though
Yeah.
as a group and as a team and as a women, as women, we've come a long way. We still have a long way to go, a really long way. And
Yes.
I'm really, I mean that. So the outgrowth of my career will be to push that and encourage that and not just say it. I mean, to do things that do it, you know, break the divide of, you know, everybody doing their own thing. Like it's power in numbers. Power comes in battalions,
It
not
does.
as one.
It does.
Yeah. So
I totally agree. And the thing is, people, when you say the word rock star, people think automatically of the music industry. But
mhm.
the reason why I yell rock star, to me, it means the best of the best. So it means that you could be a rock star with whatever industry, whatever business, whatever niche, whatever that thing is. If it's school, if it's at your job, if it's in business, whatever that is,
Mhm.
be a rock star in it. Be the best of the
That's
best.
right. That's right.
That's it. It's nothing more, nothing less. The thing is,
Mhm.
be great.
Be
Be
great. Come on
excellent
now.
in it.
That's
And
true.
there is no reason why you can't. Like, there's no reason you can't be a rock star in the restaurant business. You can't be a rock star at your government job. You can, there's no reason why you cannot be great. Like, there's
That's
no,
right.
and then these days, there's too many resources, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, back in the day, I failed a few times too, but there wasn't anybody around to say, "Hey, let me show you how it's done. Let me
Exactly.
come on over here. Let me help
Mm-hmm.
you out a little bit." It just did not exist. And then even now that we got the internet, sometimes it's hard finding that mentor, somebody to grab your hand and say, "I'll show you."
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I
Mm-hmm.
try my best. When people ask me about a question on videos, when they ask me a question, anything,
Anything. Mm-hmm.
I'm always trying my best to answer their question and
And you
help
know
them.
what? It shows, I see your work. Like I said, like I shared with you in the beginning, I've been following you, a long time, just kind of watching and cheering and rooting you on in the background. And it does make a difference. And I'm so glad that you are a trailblazer in this thing, redefining what, a term really does mean. And
Yeah.
when you're blazing a trail, it's a lonely road sometimes because everybody doesn't understand, your vision. They think that you need to conform to what other people are doing who have created a network or have a network. I'm like, I don't I don't get that. That's not my thing. And when I see people like yourself and others that are out there that are blazing their own trail and redefining what success really means, what rock star really means,
What
that
it
is
really means.
bomb. That's exciting. That's right.
It,
So you doing the damn thing.
I just want everybody to win. And so this platform here is to show entrepreneurs and those that want to be entrepreneurs that it can be done. You know,
It can be done.
only
That's
one
right.
time. Child, call
Right.
me when it happens to your third time. I'm gonna sit
That's
right
right.
there. You
That's
know,
that's right.
you know.
And you got to surround yourself um, around people, like-minded people. And I've learned that, like, I don't even allow my staff, these young people, to get away with being average. Like, you can't. You have to apply yourself to the best of your ability and more and more. Like, it's so competitive out there. You can't be average. So I got to be around people that have kind of the same energy, that's like really not just talking about it, being about it, that's really working on the steps and doing what it is that they say that they're going to do. And it's baby steps, but your word is everything. You say you want to create
Everything,
everything. It's everything. It's everything.
everything.
It's everything. I
You
know
go
you
back
know.
on your word. It's curtains over here. Like that
Girl.
so much to me. Outside of hiccups and things happen, I got
Right,
that.
right,
But
right.
you know, it means everything. And so I try to stay true to my word when it comes to helping people because I didn't have that. So I try to make sure that I'm that person for
Right.
everybody else. Because I was
That's
thinking
what's
before,
up.
it is times that I'm like, oh, I got to record, I got to broadcast.
I
And,
know.
you know, going into it, I got to get the lighting right. Did I put on lipstick? How's my hair?
Right.
You know, but when I get into it,
Mm-hmm.
and then the responses you get and the people that are commenting, like I needed to hear that. That was me. I was in a, you know, had low self-esteem and I needed to hear that. That time, so you just said, I gotta keep going.
Gotta
It's
keep
not
going.
for me. It's not about me trying to pull myself together.
And
You
even,
know?
yeah, but it's good that you take pride in that, that is important to you, because it is image. People aren't going to follow somebody that doesn't take good care of themselves, or at least make an attempt. Beauty is redefined because it's just keeping yourself together, but having the right intentions and the right spirit and the right commitment to do your job, but helping other people. And I mean, it's impressive. It's real, but it's also rare. Everybody ain't doing it like that.
Now, I will say that I can walk into your restaurant, Carolina Kitchen, and let me get my states right. I don't know where California came from.
People say it.
Carolina.
People do say it all the time. California. Yeah, that's a common mistake that people make. Mm-hmm.
And I just
They
came.
be like California.
Oh,
I'll be like Carolina.
Carolina. Get it right.
Kitchen.
So,
Carolina Kitchen. We are more than just chicken.
but I do notice that when I come into your establishment, that the young people are different. They are trained different than if I walk into another restaurant. The staff is different. And you got a lot of you employ a lot of young people, but they are on point. If you are a first timer, like it is systematic on what you're gonna do. You're gonna ring that bell and you're gonna yell first timer. And you're like, I ain't tell y'all to do that.
especially at Largo, because you got one of my partners, Ms. Bo. She is a fireball, Danita Bo. She is like, she makes sure that we stay true, and the restaurant stays true to the energy. And everybody got to say it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We do it at Hyattsville, but we don't have the bell. It's a little bit different, but it's still the same. The expectation that we have and what we pour and sow into these young people, they have to bring a good spirit and a good something to the table. And they have to have some level of goals and plans for their life. And so if they are unclear, we help them. We give them the principles that Mr. London had given us back in the day when I was a teenager, and we work with them and we develop them. But we have to be better than the best, because people will come to Carolina Kitchen and they'll wait at other restaurants. They'll get that little puck, wait 2-3 hours, like, okay, it's not a problem. But let us tell them it's a hour wait, something or more, People be ready to fight. They be taking their wigs off. They be doing all kinds of stuff, and it's rude. But you know what's funny? They do it. They wait. I would, to be honest with you, and I'm in the restaurant business. I would never wait 3 hours to eat nowhere. I would, over. I don't even know if I'd do an hour, but maybe I've done it before. I'm not sure, but it's like it's a blessing, that people do. But we have to be better. And I was just had a meeting with my staff today. I wish I could have them in here. I just told them being average is not enough.
It's not an option.
Being mediocre, or it's not an option.
Yeah.
It's not an option. I can't. In order to go to the next level, I don't even want that average lazy energy around me. I don't want it around me, because I know I got to work harder than the next person to get that dime, or get the things that I need, to get, just to maintain my life, because God has a bigger picture. I can see it. I know that is more, out there for me. But with that comes responsibility. There's a scripture that says, if you become faithful over a few things, I will make you ruler over many. Over many. So I'm like, I'm excited about that, but that's a responsibility. It's not like a dictatorship or ruling, but it's just like leading and guiding and sharing information and resources to help build people up. None of my experiences, none of my resources, or none of my networks will ever die with me. I'm giving it all up, and that's why I know I get it back.
But it shows, it really shows. And I was just telling someone, because when you walk into a Chick-fil-A, they're going to say, my pleasure. Like, there's just no, that's just what it is. Oh, you don't work here. Like, this is what it is.
Right.
And we recognize it. So it stands out.
That's right.
Your establishment, I recognize, and I don't care what, I've been in all locations, so I don't know why I goofed up the name. I didn't get all the way down to Waldorf. I don't even live nowhere near Waldorf. I'm an hour change away. Okay? So,
thank you.
So picture that. I've been to all of them. So,
that's
I go to all of them, right?
That's great. Well, you look good, girl. It don't show. It ain't showing that toothpiece. Like, go ahead, Larry. Whoa, girl, you had me in the gym that morning. Okay.
But you know what? The funny thing is, because I went to a family reunion over the weekend, and they brought that up. The thing is, I've never worn a bathing suit, and I'm not somebody that has low self-esteem. Like in here, that's what I tell myself.
I got you.
But sometimes subconsciously, you have it, because I was like, oh, you're so skinny, you look like a chicken. And you had that one little boy that teased you about being so skinny that you're like, I'm not wearing no dresses, no shorts, no bathing suit. I don't even want to swim, so I don't need a bathing suit.
Right.
All my life I've gone like that. And then I went to Aruba with a girlfriend of mine, and I said, well, maybe I'll buy a couple of little bathing suits. So I bought them just in case. I don't even know why, because I didn't own a bathing suit, or had like one. So when I put it on in the room, I said, oh, wait one damn minute here.
Girl, yes.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
I can't believe that subconsciously I allowed somebody from decades ago, because I was young, but that stuck right here. And so therefore, I didn't own any bathing suits.
Right.
Out there, and mind you, this was the music festival. So it was a rack of people there that I knew, and those that, I wanted to get to know. And
right.
A bathing suit, and I said, I started, with the selfie thing, like, wait a minute, I think I'm cute,
Okay, you did that thing. You had look. I'm the one. I'm telling you what I did. You had a whole bunch of people in the daggone gym.
And it's just
a whole army of us in the gym.
But it's amazing how people can tell you something. Thank you. How people can tell you something, and it's sick. And I'm a strong individual.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I looked in the mirror and said, "Oh, yeah, you are a little tiny. Don't wear them Daisy Dukes that ain't gonna be cute."
Uh,
you know.
you
But you
did.
know, as you get older, you start saying, "Wait a minute,
Mm-hmm.
I'm 49 and fine." That was my hashtag I used,
I
right?
love I
My
love
girlfriend said, "You gonna put that there?" I said, "I sure am," because
That's
like
right.
you said, you have to love yourself. We go so long living a certain way because somebody else told us something.
It's true. It
You
is so
know,
true.
and
We
even
are.
in business,
Mhm.
when you
Mhm.
fail, it's always that one person that, didn't you try that already? You gonna try it again now? What you doing?
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
you was, traveling in the entertainment industry. Now you think you gonna fry chicken? Like what,
Right.
what do you know? But you can't even cook. Why are you, so you gonna,
Right.
you gotta be conscious of not letting that stuff get into
That
your
is.
head.
Silence it. That's right. You got to silence the noise. And we're so hard on ourselves in business and in life. We're
Very
just
hard.
so hard on ourselves. And if we can encourage other people, and I think we talked about it earlier when we were having
Yes.
some of the technical issues, we constantly pouring and sowing into other people. Now we have to learn how to reverse it, speak
Yeah.
kinder and loving ourselves more, because we hate ourselves more than anybody else ever could,
Because I
you
beat
know.
myself up a lot when stuff don't go
Yeah,
right.
yeah, I get it. I get it. But now we really, it's a process for
Mm.
people like, entrepreneurs and people that are striving for excellence and all that stuff. It's a process, but we got to break the mold and start talking kinder to ourselves and
Yeah,
loving ourselves
I
and
agree.
starting at that place. The years ahead of us are even greater than the ones that we just lost, so
Mhm.
that are behind us. So I'm like, I'm so looking forward to the future. I am embracing all the things that God has in store, for me down the line. Like, I love the unseen. Jumped out of a plane the other day, and I was determined that it really was a leap of faith, and I wasn't afraid. I think
Yes,
the concern, huh?
I think I did see that. I'm like,
Yeah, the concern that I had was, the only discerning thing, nervousness that I had, was in the morning when I left my house. I was like, I cleaned up the house a little bit more. I took out my trash. I made sure I ain't had no dirty drawers laying around, just in case I ain't come back. Maybe like this nasty.
Lord,
So I
stop.
I tidied up. I just made sure I ain't have nothing in any strange place. I put everything in a hamper or whatever it was. So it was just a little thought in my head, like, wow, what if I don't come back? I ain't want somebody to come up in there and just be cleaning up after me and be like, ugh. So then when I got to the place, they have all these papers that you have to fill out. So you know what they are. Ain't no sense in reading that contract. But then at the end of the paper, it's this big red sheet of paper that says warning. Basically, you could die when you go jump out the plane. So I was like, dang, that's bold. So I signed off on that. And then I just kept moving forward. Like, every single thing was moving. I was moving forward. It was something I wanted to do. I said that I was going to do it, but this was something a little bit different than a task. So then when I got up in the air, that was a whole experience in itself. I mean, we all fly in a plane before, but
Right.
then in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm getting ready to jump out of this thing. So it was fun. Then I just did it. And while I was up there and on my way up and leading into this process, I was determined that I was going to, my first initial thought
Mhm.
was, I'm not, what if I do this, and when I get through this, or God, if it's my time, it's my time, as long as I be with you. I I said, I'm like, wait a minute, this is really a test of faith, because I'm like, Lord, if I don't make it, I hope to be with you today. So it was just really, it was really something. I was determined to leave all of my burdens, any lack of confidence that I have, I'm leaving it behind. I'm leaving it on the plane. I'm gonna jump out of here and take this leap of faith. And when I hit that ground, or once I hit that ground, it's not gonna be not one thing in my mind that I will believe that I cannot do. After doing that, That's what it was. I hit the ground. And Lyric, I didn't even I couldn't even process any emotion. I felt good hitting the ground. My landing was perfect. And I couldn't process any emotion. So I went to see my mom. I drove an hour away because I was close to Jersey, South Jersey, where she
Okay.
lives. So I was like, let me just drive there because she told me she didn't want to know when I was doing it. She didn't want to know nothing until I got on the ground to call her. And so I was like, I'm gonna do better than that. I'm gonna go see her. So I had posted something and I was getting ready to go up and she happened to see it. So I surprised her. I took her to dinner and then I went, I took her to dinner. And when we got back, the skydive place had emailed me the video and the pictures.
Oh, wow.
So I downloaded the pictures first. And when I saw the pictures, and I got to a part where I was on the edge of the plane and I was able to look down and see the clouds, and I lost it. I did the ugly snotty nose cry like, oh my God, I did it. It was the ugliest. I was done. And it was one of them, I did it. And my parents were there. My mom, she got a little teary eyed, my stepfather. And I was like, I couldn't think of anybody else. It's a blessing to have my parents still alive.
Yeah,
I couldn't think of anybody else that I could let all that out with and share that experience with them. Like I did something, I accomplished it, and I was really, really proud of
Oh, and
myself.
you went by yourself?
I went by myself.
You didn't have your girls with you?
No, you know how the sisters are, well, I was supposed to go the week before, and then that would have gave them enough time to plan, but the skydive canceled because of the weather. So then I rescheduled on my own. So I didn't talk about it too much because I only talked to a few people, and then I didn't want anybody's opinion like, oh, I hated it, or da 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 da. I had looked at the possibilities of fatalities. I did Google that. So but then after I eliminated that out of my mind, I didn't want the burden of anybody else's opinion to fall on me. I even made sure that everybody was at work, my job was covered, so I didn't want to have to think about anything that could go wrong, anything at work. I didn't want anybody calling me. I didn't want to look into somebody's face that I'm close to, that they're having doubt. I didn't want to see it. I wanted to go through this process by myself because it was more than just jumping out of the plane.
Yes.
I was leaving a lot of things behind. And so that I just ended up being by myself. A couple of people that wanted to come never responded, or just to support, and some people wanted to jump but never followed through. So I ended up doing it by myself, and it was just like that's just how it was. And it was good for me because we live, we die, we walk, we cry, we hurt, we pain, we heal, we do all of those things. We thirst by ourselves. You understand?
Sometimes you have to do that by yourself. You just got to jump in.
You got to do it. Yeah.
No, I totally agree. What type of advice would you give to our viewers when it comes to just really jumping? Like, because you came into the restaurant business, like you said, like, girl, I guess I better go back here and learn how to do some collard greens and learn, like,
girl, just like that.
In the part where we hadn't done that before. This is new. Yeah. People are going to be like, are you crazy? Like, what advice would you have for that person that's struggling with trying to do something new and everybody's in their head?
You have to go with what is going to give you the most personal development. Like, I needed this discipline. I needed to go to, because I never really worked a real job my whole life. I did in and out of banks and worked for Verizon. I just never liked doing it. The plan for elevation, it was always like 15, 20 years and all that stuff. I'm like, I don't have that kind of time. I know I could do that position, but you got to pay your dues. So I didn't work well in organized systems. You know, I wasn't like a hard person to work with, but it didn't do anything for my spirit. So when I got in the restaurant business, I had to settle my soul down and be like, okay, God, let me learn what it is that you need me to do. I'm here for a reason. And so let me silence the noise that I even had in my own head, because one, it was a job, but it was also an opportunity. Because idle time for me is trouble. Because like I told you earlier, or shared with the audience earlier, I made bad choices in relationships. I made bad choices, even though I was that girl that, you know, played sports and was in organized groups my entire life. Um, and then I had to settle and give myself a chance to see why I was here. And then once the purpose and the reason, because I have these striving young people and striving families of people that are in school, trying to make a living, trying to take care of their family. I had to become responsible because
Yeah.
they relied on, if I didn't get up, turn the key, turn the lights on, pay the bills, make sure the food was bought, make sure it was cooked, you know, all of those things. And then if I didn't learn how to do it myself, I would never be held hostage to somebody deciding, you know what, I ain't gonna show up to work that day, or I'm gonna do it my way. I'm like, it'll be an inconvenience, but I'm like, no, it ain't going down like that. So I learned everything. And that was encouraged also by Mr. London teaching us and encouraging us to do everything. But the advice that I would really give is like, the word that I got earlier was, you know, you successful people, you don't pick and choose what you do. You know, everything happens for a reason, you know? So I had to gut it out. I had to suck it up. And then it started to make sense to me, because I was like, wait a minute. I looked at the institution and the business a whole nother way. I'm like, okay, we sell food, but I'm in the struggle. I can eat a piece of chicken and some collard greens and things. You know, we survive off the food that we're making, even when the money wasn't there and we had to pay other people. You understand where I'm coming from? So
Exactly.
it became a craft and a skill. So I developed a whole nother skill level of responsibility, of teaching and developing, you know, and nurturing these kids that put or their parents put their trust in us to work with them, to make sure that they're coming to work and they're leaving, that they're doing the right thing, all of those things. So it became an exercise. And then I adopted those principles because I wanted to do everything right. I didn't want to fail. And then when I started sniffing, I started feeling like, ooh, I love what it feels like to be the best and number one. And I work with a team of people. I have a leader that strives for excellence in everything that he does. He's never strayed from, you know, teaching and preaching, being your best. And he
Yeah.
set a really good example in front of all of us. We've spent hours and hours in training and listening to him till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning at times, where we could have been out in the streets going to, you know, smoking weed or doing drugs or going to the party or drinking ourselves to death, where we were here learning about how to survive, but doing it the right way, and how to take these tools of what we learn here and apply them to the rest of our lives. So it became a platform, you know, for me. I see thousands of people a week, and I could, and entertainers and bishops and pastors and all these big names of people would come. And you know, it was tough in the beginning. It was tough in the it was my battery. Hey, have what's the name get my the battery. The thing is, I'm on the show. The thing is about to die. Battery. I mean the charger. The charger. Yeah. Sorry. The battery. I'm like, but but forgot where I was. But really, the bottom line is,
People that come through your establishment.
yeah, to come through the establishment, they rely on us to be better and to give the best service. So we have a responsibility, and I was behind. I was the person that's behind all of that. Of can you? Okay, thank you. Huh? Yeah, they gotta wait. It's for the magazine. Yeah. Tell them what I'm doing. Tell them what I'm doing. Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. Sorry, we had to charge the thing up.
No problem, no problem at all. So how many locations do we have now?
Oh, we have 4 plus the burger spot, so it's 5 restaurants in total. Yeah, and it's my response. Hey Juan, turn the vacuum off. Give me a minute. Thank you. Sorry, I know, Poppy. We got they a trip. They ready to get out of here. They vacuuming. They doing all kinds of stuff. They making it happen.
We definitely are coming up on the end of our hour, but I always ask this one question to all my guests, and I'm going to ask you, if there were no boundaries, there's no way of failing, money wasn't an option, and winning was the only way. If you were not in this restaurant business, that wasn't an option, what would Dawn Moss be doing?
I'd be dead.
Why?
I would be dead because this, like I said, this opportunity, it wasn't anything that I set out. It's like we have this image and this plan for our life, and we have this structure on how things are going to be. I was the high school All-American. I was the this, I was the that. I did the modeling thing. Was Miss Black USA. I wanted to be on the big screen and be all this. And, my failures and my lack of things, at the end of the day is summed up as it wasn't for me, And then when I didn't understand what God was doing, he was covering me. Yes. And he was protecting me, and he was shielding me from all the vulnerable decisions that I could have made without this institution. So before we were a restaurant, we were a marketing firm. And so we had group business, like, what you're about to see in the up and coming months, what's being developed now with Novetica. Yes. This concept, group business, direct marketing, MLM for short, this is where we began as a team, as a family. Before we even got into food, the product changed a little bit, or I wouldn't say it changed. It was just an addition. So all of these things covered me. You understand? Because I wasn't in a bad place. I wasn't like whatever, but them streets out there could have got me. You understand where I'm coming from? And I was the girl that nobody would ever expect to have gone through some of the things that I have went through, and made some of the decisions that I made in relationships and business and in life. Not at all. So if I didn't have this opportunity, if I wasn't here and I didn't learn the discipline or whatever that I need and have the responsibilities that I have, I wouldn't have had a guide or a tool. That's why I give Mr. Lance London, a lot of credit for his patience with all of us and his teachings and stuff. People don't know, but I don't praise him. I praise God, because I don't know where I would be without what I'm doing right now. This was my call, and is more to it than just food. It's bigger than that, and in the very near future, people will find out.
Yeah, and I love me some Lance London. Before, I never really been into the whole speaker game and things of that nature. So the first person I heard speak, on the platform was Lance London. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh my God, the guy from the Carolina, he is awesome. He had me so pumped up. Like,
girl,
do I want a restaurant? Like, he had me.
Are you in church?
I thought when I left there that I could just do anything. I'm not into wanting to own a restaurant, but when I got done with him, I felt like, well, if I want to open one, I can, because the way he spoke made you think that you could just do anything.
That's
Then
right.
you guys now went on, you won Steve Harvey's Hoodie Awards, the Neighborhood Awards, several years in a row, and I did my voting. You know, you guys are just so freaking awesome over there at Carolina Kitchen. Like I said, all of the locations. I vote for you for the Steve Harvey Hoodie Awards. You guys are just an example of how we can work together and make it work and be great at it. And then our staff is on point. You know, you could tell the difference in the young people that work there. And Dawn, it's just such a pleasure, because not only have you watched me, I watch you too. Okay? And it's a pleasure to have this opportunity to speak with you. And I know you're at the restaurant. And not only that, ladies and gentlemen, for everybody that's watching, Dawn has given us, you know, a good way, in case you haven't been there, given us a coupon where we can come in and get a discount and enjoy some good food.
$2 off of any meal.
Yes, and actually try all the locations, because all of them got a little something different. So, how do I know? Yeah, because I go to all of them. Terrible, right? But you know, but that just means that I love it there. I love the atmosphere. I love you guys, and you guys are doing a terrific job, because it's not easy with a brick and mortar business as opposed to an online business. It's totally different. I mean, just payroll alone.
Is it? Look, Nick, who you telling? Girl, it's a trip. But what I will say in closing is, you know, it really isn't about, you know, the restaurant. We are a part of a movement that started over 30 years ago, 30 plus years ago. And we just so happen to be in the restaurant business, you know. So to encourage anybody that wants to do anything, don't be deceived by what it is that you're doing. Maybe you have to answer some phones. Maybe you have to shovel some snow. Maybe you have to drive an oil truck. Maybe you have to serve some plates, or whatever the case may be. But see beyond what it is that you're doing now, and look with hope towards the future, because it'll happen. I'm a living and walking testimony. I laugh all the time about it, but it's so true. It ain't about this chicken over here, girl, even though it gotta be good, you know. Wait and see. But we appreciate everybody. I love you, girl. I'm so proud of you. You are the original rock star, and you keep doing it. And thank you for this platform. It matters, and it's going to grow. It's going to develop into something international. You know, I know that you see it. I see what you're doing. You just keep going and silence the noise of everybody else. You are just fine. You are beautiful, and you are trailblazing.
Ooh, I love you, girl.
And I want to come back.
Open invitation. I so appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard from the best. That is Miss Dawn Moss, you know, the one and only. So if you want your coupon, you got to go over to lifeandtimes360.com. That's life and times with an S, 360.com. Fill in your information, get your coupon, run on over Hyattsville, Rhode Island Avenue, Largo, Waldorf, you name it. Go there and check them out and enjoy the excellent food and service that they have. Okay, so
tell them to do it soon. Tell them to do it soon, because I think there's an expiration on that particular coupon. But I will come.
Go tomorrow when you open it. Okay, I'm not saying wait. If they can make it before 10 o'clock, they need to hurry. So, so I appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. You know, as always, going over to our Facebook page, Life and Times of a Female Entrepreneur. Like the page, introduce yourself, say where you are, what part of the world you're in, and what do you do so that we can support you and help you grow your business and help you become great and become a rock star. And again, I thank you as always for tuning in. I love you much. And we'll see you guys next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.